Yeah, I didn't know that's why I asked. I was like, girl. I packed this shirt this morning and realized at like 10 this morning, I was like, oh my gosh, it's St. Patrick's Day. I was like, I packed a green shirt. That's perfect. Yeah. I was wearing black all day and I was like, I swear if any of my staff touch me, I will have an issue.
A conversation.
Pinch me. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
All right, I have 6 o'clock. If anybody would like to join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Christy.
Martin,
Here.
Schreiner,
Here.
Fontana. Here. Rovensky,
Here.
Stevens, absent. Pappenfort,
Present.
Mayor Critelli.
Present.
A quorum is present.
Okay, and now we have the consent agenda. Any discussion around the consent agenda?
I would like to move item 6 to new business, ordinance 2026-10.
Second.
Second.
Thank you.
All right, well, then we will move that to the first item on new business.
And then, yeah, I will go ahead then and combine and approve the consent agenda, except for item 6, moving that down to new business.
Second.
Okay, the motion by Councilmember Martin, seconded by Councilmember Pavenport to combine and approve the items on the consent agenda with minus item 6 that was moved to new business. Any further discussion? Well, I did actually have a further, just a question. Just about the MOU between City of Salida and the Salida School District. Over that open space. I know initially we had that space was initially slated as like a placeholder for a rec center or something, a facility at some point in the future. It's that.
It's my understanding the school district's intention is to provide some recreational services there.
Okay, great. That's all I had.
Fontana,
Yes.
Pappenfort,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Schreiner,
Yes.
Rovensky.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, now we move to citizen comment. This is an opportunity for the city council to hear from our community. The public will be limited to 3 minutes each during citizens' comment. The city council may not respond to your comment this evening, rather, well, except for in our, reports at the end of the meeting if we so choose. Rather, they may take your comments and suggestions under advisement, and your questions will be directed to the appropriate department for follow-up. And if necessary, the city administrator will correct the public record. Also, anybody who signed up now, just to avoid, speaking to what somebody's commented before, it's really like now or never to sign up, if everybody understands that. Okay. That said, and also just state your name when you come up to the podium. We don't need to know your address, just for privacy's sake. So first we have Vicky Sue Vigil. Oh, okay, great.
That's one less on the list.
Okay. Are you, you're Deb then?
I am, yeah.
Okay, I'll consolidate these.
We are here, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Representing the Salida Community Center. We are asking the council tonight to go ahead and approve going forward with the 35K fireworks order. Salida has a great reputation about being a wonderful place to spend the holiday, enjoying the events plus the fireworks. If you've ever been in the park on the 4th of July night, you know what I'm talking about. Our fireworks celebrations have been featured in several publications over the years. We have also were featured in the Parade magazine, which was that little newspaper you used to get in your Sunday newspaper. We were featured in there. Salida Community Center has put out 12 firemen's booths, 11 containers around Salida and Pancha. We've collected $1,091 in February. I made another deposit for $700 for March. So far, according to the last count we had from Betsy and the $700, $800, we have around $7,000 that we have raised so far. 3 Eagles, Kahan, and the Mountain Mail have been promoting the fund. Business commitments will come, but it shouldn't just be up to the business people. They work really hard to sustain their businesses and collect the sales tax for the city. So what we need to do, and what we're asking you tonight, is we need to reach more people in the community other than Debbie and I, and we need help from the city. We have received several comments from citizens and business owners. We can share with you maybe at a different time, but the most common one now is, why isn't the city doing anything? And especially about bringing back the roving fire trucks. That might sound juvenile to you, but back in the day, it was a very, very popular thing. So we're asking you, of course, to approve the amount and do a press release telling the community you have ordered the fireworks and we will have a celebration, weather permitting. Also, maybe sending out a notice in the utility bills. Put the QR code in your Mountain Mail calendar ad. Of course, have the firemen drive through the various neighborhoods in the city to collect money in their boots. And the community center had originally talked about, oh, I better hurry up, have talked about having an ice cream social, and we're still probably willing to put on something like that if we could do it at the new fire station, because we really believe the fire trucks bring the crowd. So before I go any further, I know tonight in your packet is I don't know what I'm trying to say. In your packet is a sheet that's going to say whether or not you're going to fund and what you're going to fund. And I just wanted to point out that the amount on the scenario was that if we only had the $61.99 raised, that would be $28.80 responsible to the city. And I do believe that that is not the right amount. It's more than that. We have raised more money than that. And we have sufficient time, I believe, to raise even more money. So, you know, I ask you to take the tradition, help us out, let us raise money as we can, because we're not done. And it's a tradition. And my time's up.
Well,
Thank you.
that's okay. Deb had a little bit of time too, so you know, we just kind of counted it towards that. Yeah, no problem.
Oh, see, I'm gonna have top 3 minutes.
I mean, you could, technically. I have Deidre Wilda? Wilda. Got it.
My name is Deidre Wilda. I am with Arts Collective Gallery on F Street, and we have over 35 artists in there. When I've asked them about, I've been attending the downtown business group meetings, and lots of progress is being made. One concern that every artist, because we all host the gallery one day a month, we've seen the traffic and you know, we were there last year for the street closure. We would like to see some regulation for bicycles, speed of bicycles, bicycles on sidewalks, skateboards, all of the electric vehicles now, and silent bicycles. We've seen some very close catastrophes with people racing up and down the street. And we would like to see that if while the street is closed, if it is indeed a pedestrian walkway, that there be signs for that. That we don't, you know, we've watched people walk out of our gallery onto the sidewalk where a bike is whizzing by. It's not just young people, it is people of all ages, and they're old folks, they're young kids. we've seen it out on the street even while it's closed, that some of these little kids or dogs or whatever is out there and people are flying through there at, I don't know, it's hard for me to judge the speeds, but if it's 20 miles an hour or whatever it is, that's way too fast in a pedestrian walkway. So if the street closure is indeed a pedestrian walkway, we would love to see signage. And it's not just during the street closure when it's a problem. All year long, the kids on scooters and the electric skateboards, it's really become a big problem for, especially just in the commerce area on F Street, if there could be signs there to prevent bicycles and skateboards and everything's silent now. It's really hard, people don't hear them coming from behind, so it's really frightening, and I think for public safety, it would be something I hope you consider. I don't know how to enforce it, I don't know, I don't have any solutions for that, but, if we all work together, maybe we'll find some solution. And there are some new they're like mini bikes. They used to be called mini bikes. They were like miniature motorcycles, and now they're electric ones. And young people, 10, 12, teenage kids are driving these up and down the sidewalks, and it's for us, it's a concern. So the one thing that the artist asked me to come and talk to you all about and make note, hopefully, in your minds that we need some help with this problem.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening.
For sure. Up next we have Heidi Kravanek.
Okay, so for those who don't know me, I'm Heidi Kravanek. I'm a small business consultant and financial coach. I'm also the owner of Kravanek Jewelers for the past 33 years. My husband Mark and I have worked very long and hard at building our business and are now planning on gently passing our business to our daughter. To us, it's more than just a business, it's a legacy. For the record, I know you guys are probably tired of hearing it, I'm against the F Street closure. I just want that on the record. So anyway, just so you know, successful business owners know the importance of not impeding the flow of traffic to your store. Just a little side note. Okay, now, since we currently have no choice regarding the F Street closures, in order to offset this decision, we need timed parking limits for the parking around the businesses. I think there's a 3-hour, or used to be a 3-hour limit. Mm-hmm. So, just as a restaurant wants the tables to turn in a timely manner, we would like our parking spots turned in a timely manner so that everyone has a chance to park close to the store of their choice and participate. Also, we would like open containers for the part of F Streets that's closed, so people can meander with their drinks and go into stores and things like that, and have a fun shopping experience. In order to make this happen, we would like to have foot patrol officers to keep the public safe and ensure against things like what you just spoke about. So, and I would be happy to discuss any of the points I have made in more detail and in depth with anyone at any time. So, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next we have Mike Lefevre. Hi.
You're on. This feels intentional, so.
Yeah.
powerless.
Okay. That's a nice quiet reflection. Let's see. Up next we have Adam Martinez.
Okay, thank you, Mayor and Council. There was an incident with the police. Last Sunday, I was at home. This was around 6 o'clock, and the officer came to my door. I asked him what was going on. He told me to step outside. And then he was yelling and screaming at me and ranting and raving. And I had told Nick Tamola, because I said, if you don't have an arrest affidavit or probable cause or a search warrant, I asked him to leave. So then, a couple days later, there was another officer bringing me some papers of some sort. And, my mom asked, what is going on? Is he in trouble? And then the officer said, shut up and mind your own business, you fucking old lady, you. So then, I was taken back with the whole thing. And one of the things is, I tried to get a hold of Christy Dooms twice last week to tell her about the whole thing. And in essence, this has been an ongoing episode with the police, that I've been a target of the police. And it also dated back about 3 years ago when former Mayor Dan Shore pressed harassment charges on me. And in essence, and the police, I am handicapped and disabled. I have a disability through the Americans with Disabilities Act, and in essence, and the thing of it is I'm questioning the police department's procedures and who is in charge of the police chief, if it is the mayor, if it is City Administrator Christy Dooms, or who it is. And if Christy is going to manage the department heads, I think she better do her job right, and in essence know what's going on with the police, and know how the police treats its citizens, because I've been on the wrong end of the police. And I emailed Russ Johnson regarding the whole thing. He never emailed me back. So I put my complaint and I gave it to Wales Martin on for you guys to look over it. I would like to have a meeting with you, Mr. Mayor, and the City Administrator. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Do you have anybody online?
No, but I can mention that I have reviewed the body cam footage of the interaction between Mr. Martinez and Officer Tolsma, and can follow up with the council on what that interaction look like.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. We have a liquor license application hearing. This is a public hearing before the Salida City Council, sitting as the Salida Local Liquor Licensing Authority on an application for a new hotel and restaurant liquor license submitted by Elazar de Jesus Velasquez on behalf of Greystone Roadhouse for the premises with a street address of 720 East Highway 50 within the city of Salida. Now, before this hearing begins, I will outline the manner in which the hearing will be conducted and the order in which we'll receive the testimony. Although the authority is acting as a judge in this case, I note for the application and members of the public that strict rules of evidence do not apply. Any evidence that is relevant to the matter at hand may be considered by this authority. It is then up to each member of the authority to determine the credibility and weight of all such evidence as it relates to their decision. As chair, I may limit testimony or evidence determined to be irrelevant, repetitive, or cumulative. First up, this authority will accept the preliminary investigation reports and findings of the city clerk.
Thank you. So Eliezer de Jesus Velasquez submitted a new Colorado hotel and restaurant liquor license application for the premises at 720 East Highway 50. It was the old Stoke and Little Cambodia. The notice of the hearing was published February 13th in the Mountain Mail. The premises was posted on March 5th. We've done the history background checks and they all came back good. Police and fire inspections will be scheduled if the liquor license is approved. And we're recommending the authority approve the liquor license for the Greystone Roadhouse. And I'll answer any questions if you have them.
Well, next we have the applicant may present an opening statement or any statement of any kind, if you so choose. Obviously, no obligation though either, obviously, but it's. Okay, that is totally fine. Okay. Authority members, let's see, cross-examination, nothing there.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Councilmember Fontana should have recused herself.
At that point?
Yes.
Yeah.
and
Okay,
let
I thought it
council
was that-
chambers, no.
Yeah.
Oh, do
At the
we-
beginning,
Oh.
Yeah.
in council
Yeah.
chambers at the beginning.
I'm so
Maybe
sorry.
it's
I know.
Stating
I
for the,
wasn't sure when it was.
Yeah.
stating for the record what's happening, what's going on.
Oh, Councilmember Fontana is going to recuse herself from this item.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so, there's no, presentation from the applicant. The city may present evidence and witnesses prior to excusing the city's witnesses, anything like that? Okay. Any party of interest in the room like to speak to anything?
Are we talking about the liquor license for Elazar?
Yes.
Oh, he's my tenant.
Oh, cool.
Thank you very much.
If you're gonna
Yeah, yeah.
speak, if you're gonna speak, can you
You
go
can
to
have
the
the
microphone?
microphone, honey, sorry.
Is it okay, Elazar? Yeah. Okay.
He's my tenant,
Oh, cool.
and he's very responsible,
Great.
so he's a good guy. So I highly recommend him for whatever he's asking for, just take it.
All right.
Right, Elsa?
That's great. That's perfect. Okay, and, well, the applicant, I guess that's a good closing statement for the applicant. Let's see, moving on, all evidence and testimony. Okay. Let's see. Any questions from council? Sorry, this is a different write-up. Throwing curveballs. Yeah, any questions from anything stated from city council? Anything? Okay. Then that looks like I can close the public hearing and open up for deliberations on this application. Who would like to begin?
I mean, it all looks good to me. It's a hotel and restaurant liquor license, so there's gonna be some food too.
Ooh, that's cool. Good point. Anything else?
That's my whole discussion.
I can offer a motion. I move to approve a new hotel and restaurant liquor license request for Greystown Roadhouse at 720 East Highway 50.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilmember Martin, seconded by Councilmember Shriner, and that is to approve the new hotel and restaurant liquor license for Greystone Roadhouse LLC, DBA Greystone Roadhouse located at 720 East Highway 50. Any further discussion?
Rovinsky,
Yes.
Papenfort,
Yes,
Martin,
Yes.
Shriner,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay, congratulations. Look forward to it. Okay, and up next, City Council as the local licensing authority to review and potentially issue an order to show cause and schedule public hearing relating to the retail liquor store liquor license for Nine Stripes LLC DBA Arley Dale's Jug Liquor located at 220 North F Street.
Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of go over the CAF that was provided
Oh.
to you.
Sorry, we don't have we're
Oh.
missing a council member.
Okay.
All I said was what was listed in Councilmember Fontana. I forgot. I didn't realize. Sorry. Beckon you back. I'm sorry.
So
Anyway,
I'll go over the CAF.
Great.
We have Michaela from Jeff and Nina's office online. She's the one that's been really helpful for me on this one. And Jeff is here too, be able to answer any questions, legal questions, hopefully. So as you're all aware, on March 5th, I forwarded complaints to the mayor and city council regarding the conduct of the owner and other patrons of the Jug Liquor Store at 220 North F Street. There were a couple other things that were forwarded to you. For this, tonight, I put the police chief's complaint in here. I didn't put the others. The local licensing authority may, on its own motion or complaint, suspend or revoke a liquor license or fine a licensee whenever the licensee or agent, servant, or employee violates any provisions of the liquor code. I'm not gonna read it all, sorry. The liquor code regulations, Liquor and Tobacco Enforcement Division establishes the conduct of establishment whereby each person holds liquor license, has to ensure that the liquor license premises, the conduct is decent, orderly, respectful manner, shall not serve a known habitual drunkard, shall not permit the licensee, employee, or agent knowingly permit activity or acts of disorderly conduct, shall not permit rowdiness, undue noise, or other disturbances or activity offensive to the scenes of the average citizen or its residents of the neighborhood in which its licensed establishment is. And for recommendations, following the discussion on the matter and after considering all documentation and evidence in the record, Salida Liquor Authority should make a motion to either approve or deny the issuance of an order to show cause for the retail liquor license for Nine Stripes LLC, DBA Arley Dale's Liquor located at 220 North F Street, held by licensee Mr. Chad Thornton. If the order to show cause is approved, the authority shall set the matter for public hearing at city council meeting set for April 7th. So the licensee has an opportunity to be heard. And Commander Blades is also here if you have questions of the police department too.
Okay, council, any questions? Any burning desire to get more information on this?
I got plenty from the packet.
Okay. Yeah, if we feel like there's enough cause to move forward.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the issuance of an order to show cause for the retail liquor store liquor license for Nine Stripes LLC, DBA Arley Dale's Jug Liquor, located at 220 North F Street, and to schedule a public hearing on April 7th, 2026, followed by,
Oh,
nope, that's the end.
Second.
We have a
I'll get it right
By
one this
Councilmember Shriner, very thorough, seconded by Councilmember Martin, and that is to approve the issuance of an order to show cause for the retail liquor store liquor license for Nine Stripes LLC DBA Arley Dale's Jug Liquor, located at 220 North F Street, and to schedule a public hearing on April 7th, 2026. Any further discussion?
Martin,
Yes.
Rovinsky,
Yes.
Shriner,
Yes.
Papenfort,
Yes.
Montana,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okey-doke, we are moving on to new business. First order on new business is ordinance 2026-10, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Salida, Colorado, approving a substantial modification of parcels VPA 1, VPA 7, VPA 8, and VPA 9 of the Vanderveer Ranch Plan Development Area, also known as the South Arc Neighborhood, to make clarifications, update architectural and dimensional standards, revise affordable housing workforce provisions, and outline review procedures. And this is a first reading, so I think we would have to approve, on first reading and then set the second
Are we
reading
going through the entire presentation now, or can we go with questions?
and set the public hearing for April 7th. Well, who would like to begin?
I guess since I'm the one who proposed bringing this down, I would like to hear from the staff what the proposal is for the changes specifically. Not necessarily going through the whole project and history and everything, but just what those changes are, just so that we are transparent as a city of what this project will look like moving forward,
Okay,
potentially.
sounds good. I'm familiarizing myself with Bill's items, which he's walking in now.
Stalling.
Let me find the cap in here. Councilmember Wales Martin had asked if we could do a brief overview of the changes being made in
Sure.
the ordinance.
Yep, absolutely. Apologies, you went through that liquor licensing very fast.
Efficient.
Yes, very efficient, in fact. Sure. So as far as a summary of the requested changes, I'll have Christy bring up presentation, and I'm gonna have you go to page 14, or slide 14. And we'll kind of quickly just go over these.
This one?
Maybe 13, one before that. Yeah, okay, so basically the amendments cover 4 different areas. General clarifications, architectural and dimensional standards updates, affordable and workforce housing requirement updates, and then clarification of development review procedures. Next slide. As far as the general clarifications go, there's some updates to Exhibit B and D regarding just change of planning areas and sub-area zone districts because of some area that was determined to be unbuildable. The ADU caps that are currently in the ordinance have been eliminated per state law. Single-family detached was just used to make it a little bit more clear for potential future developers on the site. We clarified as it was intended, but just didn't get written into the original ordinance, that alleys are allowed indeed to count towards frontage for residential lots. And then there were some other minor edits, grammatical and otherwise. On the architectural dimensional standard side of things, we clarified further again for developers that side setbacks for attached units, there are no required setbacks if they're attached, of course. The minimum density for SA2 was increased slightly to correspond with the lot sizes that are out there via the Phase 1 subdivision. And then there's a little bit extra clarification around roof form, courtyards, and other design language. Next, and this is probably the one that most folks will have interest in. We've got a couple pages of this. So basically the ordinance currently requires 50% or 1 out of 2 units out in the South Arc neighborhood to be restricted as affordable. For a variety of reasons, we are proposing that restriction be reduced to 1 out of 3, or 33%, for phase 1 only at this point. And then furthermore, clarifying that public and nonprofit entity housing units, whether restricted or not, that they do count towards the affordability requirements, because in the current ordinance, and it's unclear whether or not this was intended or not, those are not intended to count towards the affordability, even if they are affordable, which, as you could imagine, creates further restrictions on the development as far as the affordability, and further makes it unbuildable, frankly. And then the request, and to be clear, this is different than what Planning Commission's recommendation was. The request, as it is in the ordinance, is that non-income-based workforce units be reduced from 25% in phase 1 to 10% in phase 1. Planning Commission did have this in front of them, and they opted to recommend that it remain at the 25%. Staff and the owner's representative on this project would like to have council consider this again for phase 1. Next.
Bill, really quick,
Yes.
could you speak to the reasoning as to why it's being proposed that we would go from 1 out of 2 to 1 out of 3 for the first phase?
Yeah, I mean, it really, I do have another slide that really kind of talks to this. We
Okay,
can
if you
certainly
have it
bounce
planned
back and
for
forth.
later, that's great.
Yeah, let me come back
Okay.
to that here in just a moment. So covering the rest of the affordability pieces. So another request is that the minimum amount of either rental or for sale units in the entire development be reduced from 40% down to 25%. Originally, it was at 40% to try to create parity between rental units and for sale units out there. Dropping it to a minimum of 25% for either one provides a little bit more flexibility to help developers meet whatever the demand is out there, whatever the need ends up being. So this way, if in one phase the need is greater for, say, apartments, then you could have 75% apartments and 25% for sale units. But in the following phases, that might flip on its head, and it would allow for 75% for sale units and then 25% apartments. Just gives a little bit more flexibility while still maintaining some level of parity there, so that we get a little bit of both. These two that are highlighted because they weren't specifically called out in the version that Planning Commission saw, but it plays back into all the rest of the proposals as far as the 33% affordability and the at least 10% of the non-income based workforce units. And it would specify that, because the plan is for the city to sell lots in bulk out there for developers to develop. Of course, the city is not going to be developing it. We're not going to have boots on the ground building these homes. We need to engage with a developer to do this, and therefore we're requiring that 1 out of 6 of the units that get sold, or the lots that get sold to those developers, need to have an affordable unit. And then 1 out of 6 needs to have one of those non-income based workforce housing units that we were talking about as well. Again, these are just for phase 1. This will help get us to that 33% overall for the affordability, and the 10% for the non-income based workforce units. Then lastly, on the issue of affordability and workforce housing, the timing currently in the ordinance reads that actually it's 1 out of 4 technically, should read 1 out of 4. It's 1 out of 4 total units need to be a restricted unit. That doesn't provide the developers that we anticipate engaging much flexibility when it comes to how they build it, and then recouping some of the monies out of sales of the market-based units. So we're proposing 1 out of 6 timing, that the COs can come for 1 restricted unit for every 6 total units. Again, that's just in phase 1. And then the last one is real quick, the last category, next page. Oop. Oh, did we skip one there? Might have missed one there. I feel like, go back to the, yep, keep going. Remind me what else we had. One more, sorry. Oh, clarification of development review procedure. Sorry, I think I maybe missed a slide here, but anyways, it just has to do with making sure that developers know what the procedure is going to be if they're proposing a certain type of development, multi-unit development, for instance, or commercial development. Just clarifies that, and we realized we missed one particular category and we needed to reinsert it there. All right, so now I'm going to have you go back to slides, I believe it was 8, 9, and 10. Start with, I think, 8 there.
That one?
No. What is that, 6? So go forward just a couple. All right, go one more. There we go. Okay. So everybody knows what I was just explaining this a little bit, but the whole plan as far as how to get the South Ark neighborhood developed with the affordable housing was really predicated on the city building the backbone infrastructure out there, the water, the wastewater, and the primary streets. We are doing that now, as you all know, as the activities going on out there, using grant funds that we've received from DOLA, contributions from our partners at CMC and the county, plus some of our own affordable housing funds. The idea being there that if we are able to do this at fairly low cost, it will help create more affordable housing out there, because we can sell the lots at lower prices and require the developers to build more of this affordable housing. So how are we going to do that? We have an owner's representative that we hired late last year who's been working on this project, analyzing it, and the plan is to issue an RFQ for development of the phase 1 lots in bulk, in chunks, basically, to private developers that respond to the RFQ, and sell them those lots at market or below market costs with development agreements built in to build market housing and affordable housing. Of course, we're also planning on working with our public and nonprofit housing partners. CMC is already interested in building 36 units in phase 1 on property that we have, will be dedicated to them through the MOU that we have. And then we intend on working with Chafee Housing Authority, Chafee Housing Trust, potentially other partners to also build additional affordable housing. That's how we're planning on getting the affordable and non-income-based workforce housing out there in phase 1, and we plan to repeat that strategy in phases 2 and 3. Next slide. This is going to get, Wales, to your question, really about some of the challenges and why we're asking for what we're asking. Again, I mentioned that we hired our owner's representative, David Starnes, who is with us online this evening. He has been talking to local developers, regional developers, architects, financial institutions who would actually lend to developers to help build this project out. He's been conducting interviews with them and getting a lot of feedback. And overall, the feedback, if I have to summarize it, is this project cannot work as it is currently written up. It's not feasible financially for any developers to do because of all the issues that are listed here. Number one, phase 1 infrastructure ended up costing the city more than it was anticipated. Inflation hit considerably over the last few years. And it didn't just hit the private sector, it hit the public sector as well. So putting in that infrastructure ended up costing more than was originally intended, which means that we have less flexibility on the cost of those lots. There's a substantial amount of plan development affordability requirements, obviously, on it. Currently, 50% affordable, and then this additional 25% of non-income-based workforce units or affordable units. There's some flexibility there. The timing of delivery of those affordable units, going back to that like 1 in 4, it doesn't allow the developer to recoup money on market-based units very quickly when they have to build an affordable unit and basically take a loss on those. There's a lot of issues right now in regards to the interest rates. Interest rates have obviously ballooned over the last few years, and challenges in the capital markets in general. Labor availability and overall construction costs, we're seeing it throughout the county. It's all just gone up, and it's just become more challenging. And then the other issues that we're trying to address within the ordinance, lack of clarity regarding the PD standards. This is something that we can address fairly easily through this ordinance. But then also there's an uncertainty about the future housing type needs. Some of these units could be built, it may not sell, or may not get rented out, because there's just uncertainty around that. We do have other competing projects, if you will, around town as well. So it's, all these lead into some very, very serious hesitation on the part of developers and financing institutions around this project currently. And that's why we're in front of you now, to propose some changes that will hopefully eliminate some of that hesitation and get people to actually respond to the RFQ, because without responses to the RFQ, no affordable housing happens. So, one more slide. Just kind of, again, a little bit of a primer about affordable housing basics. You all know this is a little bit more for the public, but it's no cheaper really to build affordable housing than it is to build market-rated housing. There are gonna be some changes, but in the end, the most basic, say 1,200 square foot home is still gonna cost $400,000 to build. Because you still have the same amount of concrete, you still got the same amount of wood, you still got the same amount of labor going into it. There may be some differences with the finishes and all, but those are slight. Builders end up taking a very sizable risk when they opt to sign a contract or buy land or engage in a development like this. And they take that risk because they have significant loans with interest that they take out. They're not just generally not using money that's in their pockets or in the bank, or in savings rather. They're taking loans out to do this, and they won't move forward with that project unless they are confident that they're going to make some profit. Nobody likes to do work for free, right? In general, affordable housing requires subsidies. We have subsidies to build out the infrastructure for phase 1. We don't have subsidies beyond that to help bring the costs down on the individual units. And right now, with the state of the budget at the state level and federal level for that matter, other subsidy opportunities are very, very limited, and we're not anticipating them to help with the affordability of this project. And again, just to summarize, no affordable housing gets built if no housing gets built. So, we do have one last slide. It's towards the end. I think it was at 18 or so. I just wanted to show real quick, David Starnes, helped put this together, but it basically provides a comparison of scenario A, which is the current ordinance, scenario B, which was Planning Commission's recommendation of the 33% in phase 1 affordability plus 25% non-income based units in phase 1. Scenario C, which is staff's recommendation of 33% affordability in phase 1 and 10% of the non-income based in phase 1. And then scenario D, that includes some additional townhomes and apartments from CHT and CHA should those come to fruition in phase 1. And what it shows generally is that, yes, in scenario A, as it's currently written, 75% of all the units are restricted, 3 out of 4 of them. With the cost of housing, that's not going to happen. Not millions and millions of dollars of additional subsidies that are just not available right now. Scenario B, Planning Commission's recommendation would result in 58% of the units being restricted in one way or another in phase one. Scenario C, staff's recommendation is 43%, so slightly less. But as scenario D shows, if we are able to work something out with CHT and CHA for specific lots that are out there, that number could actually balloon up to 66%. And of course, CHA and CHC could partake in any one of these scenarios, but we just want to show that the minimum that we're trying to create would be that 33% of affordable units, 10% non-income based units, but then we have an opportunity to potentially go well above that. So I'll stop there. Let me know if you have further questions.
Yeah, and I guess just clarifying, we felt like these points that Councilmember Martin brought up were just important, that can't be overstated, and should just, we'll be saying exactly, it'll be an echo next, public, for the second reading. But these are like really important points just to really drive home in our messaging is what's actually happening, so that, people don't jump to conclusions on what we're really doing here. So, but yeah, any clarifiers, questions, concerns from council?
Staff adapts to reality, and that's what we all have to do. That's our job, and so that's how I see this. If we're gonna get the affordable housing, we gotta back off our original position of demanding half, because no one's gonna do it. And now we've got infrastructure going in, we need houses to go in. We need to make it happen.
Yeah, I hope that we take some lessons from this, I guess, in that every construction project that I've had even tangential knowledge of has not gone the way it was planned. And, external forces that we don't have control over seem to always be part of this environment. And so I hope that I'm struggling with the fact that it feels like we overpromised and are now under-delivering. And I get why that happened, because there are these external things that we had no control over. But I guess I just feel like there's always gonna be those things. And when we're talking about trying to move the ball down the field with affordable housing, or anything really, where we're talking trade-offs with how the public feels about it, I mean, people are upset that we're basically closing down Vanderveer right now. And I think it's a hard sell when we've also promised these things that we now can't deliver on. So I don't really mean to, that's not a criticism or I don't know, it's not a scolding, it's just, I hope we remember this next time we plan something, and how we talk about it with people, and make sure that we're sure we can deliver on what we're telling them we can.
Yeah, and I will say, at the time when the original ordinance was passed, it was staff's recommendation for various other tweaks to this, because it was recognized that this was a very ambitious project. There are a few of you that are here that were there on council at that point. There's a significant amount of pushback from certain members of the community, and specifically the Housing Task Force, to maintain various levels. And ultimately that was what kind of won the day. But it's been recognized that this was going to be a struggle from the beginning, and on top of it, all these costs have just ballooned, which was not exactly expected. So we're in that much bigger of a hole when it comes to making this happen. But we do feel like we've come up with some proposals that still end up producing a sizable amount of affordability, twice as much as what would be required by our current inclusionary housing, plus these additional non-income based workforce units, which are meant to go to folks who are in our workforce, and there's a 90-day revolving right of refusal for those individuals, so that they don't have to compete with anybody coming from outside of the community. But that is in a really unproven program. We don't know really how popular something like that's going to be, and we don't want it to hold up the rest of the affordability in the project. And if we have a ton of interest in it and those sell out, like hotcakes, then we can go back to the 25% or even more in phases 2 and 3.
When you spoke to the development community or our consultant, what did you call him? I forgot.
Owner's representative.
Owner's representative. When he spoke to the development community, they are saying if we make some of these modifications, then they will hopefully come on board? Is that the feedback from the development community for this?
Yeah, we can have David speak
Yes,
directly to that.
please.
He's online. David, you want to address that? I think you're self-muted at the moment.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Nice to see you. David Starnes, so Civistruct, owner's rep with the city of Salida. So yes, as part of the outreach in January, really wanted to get a better understanding of the PD and the local Chaffey County and Salida developers' interpretation of the PD. One, just to gauge what they think, and then two, to see of their potential interest in responding, as part of a forthcoming RFQ process. And, as Bill mentioned, there are, things in the RFQ that really made it challenging for them to be interested. One was, as I mentioned, with the kind of what we call the concurrency requirement, meaning if they build a certain home within a certain lot and another developer is doing affordable in another lot, that their CAs may be held up waiting for the affordable. And so that's why we had it kind of suggesting or recommending kind of tying it to the bulk lot sales. And this is a big red flag in terms of, I talked to a couple of lenders here in Salida who do a lot of the financing for the homes that are currently being built by, some of the major builders in here. So overall, again, the developers that are local are actually very busy. So they were kind of minimally interested, but I'm hopeful with this modifications, should you guys be interested in approving, that this kind of opens up further interest from them. Again, a lot of times it's based on capacity. Some of these developers and home builders are having challenges with the labor trades, with the construction costs, all the things that Bill had mentioned that go into the financial viability of a project. Because the developer and a home builder needs to earn a reasonable return on investment for undertaking that risk. And to the extent that the city can help reduce those barriers. I mean, there's macroeconomic issues, as Bill mentioned, in terms of the capital markets, interest rates that the city doesn't control. But in terms of local kind of zoning, ordinances, and approvals, I think one of the great things, as long as you're in alignment with the PD, it's pretty much straight to building permit, unless you do a multifamily, which I think is a great risk reducer relative to some other projects. Again, I serve as an owner of some other communities in the Front Range, and it's a lot different environment. So I think the way Salida is doing things, and then maybe interest from other builders in not only in Chaffey, but outside of Chaffey, that we could get a great response to really provide that level of market rate and affordable. And I will say, in terms of the affordable housing, again, with the RFQ, as part of this process, as part of the lot sales for the affordable, there may be opportunities to provide more affordable than the 33% if the city is willing to kind of reduce prices or convey land for those affordable units. So it's part of a negotiation with the respondents as part of the forthcoming RFQ. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. And are we going to, after, let's say this passes, are we going to get some additional feedback from them?
Yes, most definitely. So I think that's why tying it to phase one, it would be really good, because I think the city, as part of the implementation of South Arc, it's really important to get off on the right foot with success. And if we could find some builders to get going on those homes, that's going to bode well for phases 2 and 3. There's another 250 units in phases 2 and 3 to be developed. And I'm thankful that those lots haven't been platted yet, meaning it's still open in terms of the types of houses that could go there. It could be single family, it could be townhomes, could be multifamily. And what we hope to learn from phase 1 is that kind of what we call unit mix will be further defined, because maybe in phase 2, instead of doing, under the current situation, there's 39 townhome lots. Maybe there's less demand for townhomes and more for single family, but we hoped, to use the lessons from phase 1 to help inform how phase 2 and phase 3 are developed in terms of for sale, for rent, and then the types of the housing product types.
Mr. Stearns, you mentioned that the RFQ going out at the current rate with the 33% affordable units, so it'd be the 2 out of the 6 of those units, that would get interest from developers, or we're hoping at least, and they would want to probably discuss further negotiations with the city.
Yeah, because the step is with the RFQ, so it's a request for qualifications, and so depending on who responds and depending on which bulk lots they respond to, for example, there's like a lot group of 10 townhomes, one of 8 townhomes, one multifamily lot, and another multifamily lot. Depends on what that response is. The city would enter in negotiations for a purchase and sale agreement, which would further outline the level, the pricing, and then 2, if the city would be willing to reduce price on some of the affordable lots, would they be willing to do an extra 1 or 2 more affordable lots instead of doing, 2 out of the 6, 2 out of 6, maybe 3 out of the 10 or whatever. So that would be part of the, the negotiation with the individual developers and home builders that are selected from the RFQ.
Okay, so just to clarify, you're not saying that they would be coming to the city requesting for more, subsidies? Or they?
No, I think in the RFQ, we would outline what I call public investment toolbox is, and this is what the city is contributing. I mean, it's a huge thing where the city is, as part of the grant, putting in all the horizontal. I mean, that is a big number that a developer doesn't have to pay for. And so to the extent that it's almost a plug and play, meaning you have platted lots, you have roads, you have street, curb and gutter, and infrastructure all there, and the developer just has to pay the tap fees and the building permit and get going. I think that's, in my opinion, working on the Front Range a fair amount too. That's a significant investment and incentive for a developer to doing a project in Salida.
And I think the negotiation that Dave is really talking about, it comes down to the one other lever that we still have, and that's the cost of the lots, right? And if they agree to build more affordable units or more non-income-based units or whatever it may be, we can flex the price of that, accordingly, to help incentivize additional affordability.
What is that revenue used for?
For the lot sales, primarily we go back into the Affordable Housing Fund, which has been underwriting the gap for the cost of infrastructure out there in phase 1.
Any other?
Yeah, I just want to say, to me, this isn't exactly promises not being met. To me, this whole thing is a negotiation with reality. And I think admirably, staff were very aggressive and aimed high in this project. And unfortunately, as we all know, over the last couple of years, reality, I'm in 3D now, reality has been a very tough negotiator. And, as you say, if this doesn't get built, then, no affordable housing gets built. And so I see some of the concerns that these numbers are dropping and all that, but there's still a ton of meat left on this bone. And to me, we can listen to people say, this is dropping below thresholds I'm comfortable with and all that from right now. But when we look at it from the other side, when it's finished, and see the people that are able to buy a home or rent without spending 40% of their income on it, I think we're gonna look at it and go, it was successful. So I think if David and staff thinks these numbers need to come to this point, these numbers aren't, to me, they're not past my pain threshold for what I'm willing to accept. So I'm comfortable with them, and if it makes this project work, and then it's great.
Now I understand why we needed an owner's rep.
Yeah.
We needed a reality check, and that's what the owner's rep's job is,
Absolutely.
to communicate with all you gonna play? No, I'm taking my dolls and going home.
Yeah, and for those who, might say, why don't you go out and do it as it is, we lose a lot of time. That's the biggest issue in issuing that RFP, trying to get responses, doing the negotiations, to very likely find out it's just not possible, right? And if we intend on trying to break ground out there for housing by the end of this year, perhaps at earliest, we need to get it right the first time.
Okay, well, guys, just make sure you remember your comments and questions, and we'll just do it again next meeting.
I do have another question.
Oh, good. Well, again, just make sure it's written down, and then we'll echo it next time.
Can we go back to slide 18, I believe, with the chart of the different.
The 4 scenarios.
Mm-hmm. So the number of potential CHT, CHA affordable workforce units, that applies into every scenario, correct?
Correct, yes. That could be applied to all of them.
So the planning commission's recommendation, just so everybody here on council hears, like it would bring it to 121 units, and that would bring us to 87% affordable, not affordable, the restricted units. So just something to think about, I think, for our next discussion, for like which scenario we're thinking for the non-income based workforce units, NIMBWs.
NIBWs.
Yeah.
Another acronym for everybody to remember.
Yeah, so
Get right on that.
those 34 units can apply to every scenario, I guess, is what I just wanted to point out.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I guess I would be remiss if I didn't say and voice a concern about setting a precedent with the first phase of doing it at this 1 out of 3 instead of 1 out of 2. If the whole project ends up going that way, I will have deeper concerns, but right now for phase 1, if that is what, staff and David, is also recommending, then I think that is what we are going to have to do.
And what was the rationale there with the 2 different percentages between, I'm always, am fascinated by staff recommendations being different from PC's recommendations, like, I don't know, like rebellious.
The only difference between staff and PC's recommendation is just around the non-income-based workforce units.
Yeah.
Because it is such an unproven type of program, and we don't want that to be the piece that prevents developers from signing up for this project, frankly. Just not knowing how that's gonna work. And those 90 days, it doesn't seem like a lot, but that can actually gum up the works, and really financing institutions, just as much as the developer, are concerned about that type of product, because it's not a common thing to do. There's a few communities in Colorado that are doing that, but those tend to be much higher cost of living communities than here. I mean, we're talking the Vales, the Aspens, et cetera. And so it's not yet, our market prices are close enough to some of the affordable, higher end affordable products that it's a big question mark whether people would be willing to buy a restricted unit when they could potentially go after a market-based unit, for instance. So.
Just giving NIBWU a little test run.
A test run, yep.
Perfect. I just wanted to say NIBWU. Guys, if there is no further discussion, I think there is a motion. Yeah, right there. On the old screen there, for anybody who
I
can
would
like.
read it, but I can't.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'll do it. Mr. Mayor, I move to approve on first reading ordinance 2026-10, approving a substantial amendment to the South Arc Neighborhood Planned Development substantial modification, setting the second reading and public hearing for April 7th, 2026.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Schreiner, seconded by Councilmember Fontana, and that is to approve on first reading ordinance 2026-10, approving a substantial amendment to the South Arc Neighborhood Plan Development substantial modification, and setting the second reading and public hearing for April 7th, 2026. Any further discussion?
Rovinsky.
Yes.
Peppenfort,
Yes.
Shriner,
Yes.
Fontana,
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, now we move on to gaining direction from city council regarding purchasing fireworks for 4th of July and the parade of lights. Super exciting.
That's okay.
More information if you can reshare.
I'm so glad Vicky Sue, Deb?
And Deb.
And Deb were here from the Community Foundation. From the Community Center. They've really done a lot of work getting out into the community to raise the funds that have been raised so far, and the city really, really appreciates that. So as you can remember, during the 2026 budget discussion, council approved the budget that included a line item of $25,000 in revenue to be offset by $25,000 expenditure for fireworks. So essentially, council was saying, yes, budget law requires that we say we are going to get $25,000 and we are going to spend $25,000. And so the discussion at that time was to work with the community to help raise funds for the 2 fireworks shows, the 4th of July, which is generally $25,000, and then the Parade of Lights, which costs about $10,000 in cash for fireworks. The city has always been committed to supporting the fireworks program with overtime from our fire department, and that was already included. That is not part of the cash that's being requested here. So, yes, as of March 9th, that $6,200-ish had been raised, knowing that there was, about a week and a half. I'm so glad that Vicky Sue was able to tell us the additional funds that were coming in. Betsy Dittmer with the Community Foundation did send an email talking about how pleased she was to see how the support from the community, and she is she believes that the funds will be raised, particularly at least $20,000 by June 1st. So she was supportive of the process as it moves forward. Because this is a budgetary item and we had direction from the council during the 2026 budget, staff felt that it was appropriate to bring this back to have the discussion. We do need to order the fireworks kind of by the end of the week to make sure that we get them in time for the 4th of July. As has been mentioned, yes, it is a dry year. We do not know, if conditions exist and we're not able to actually set the fireworks off. It's my understanding, and Chief Junkie is here and can correct this statement if is necessary. The fireworks could certainly be used for the Parade of Lights, and it's my understanding that they can be saved to be used in a subsequent year. Okay, so that is the intention, that we would have the fireworks and the money would be used for fireworks regardless if we needed to move it into the following year. So staff's bringing this forward for discussion and consideration to council.
For the record, Chief said, hopefully, which,
It is hopefully, yeah. I mean, it's not ideal to save fireworks that long. They become
just a direct
little
quote.
touchy, but. So, happy to answer questions. We do have the fiscal impact here, and, yes, here we are.
Would like to begin.
I have a question. Is there a minimum order amount? Like, do we really have to put $35,000 on the table when we've raised less than 20% of that?
I do not believe.
No, I'm aware.
Yeah, I do not believe that there is a minimum order amount, no. This
Okay.
is just, this has been the conversation, yes.
And historically, we order all the fireworks at once because they're coming a long way.
Yeah,
So the
it's
shipping's expensive.
generally, it saves us some money if we are ordering the fireworks for both shows at the same time.
Sure.
Chief, you had something?
Yes, we try to order them all at the same time. That's about $35,000. The fireworks there, they can degrade over time, so we're gonna end up with more duds. That's just a little more dangerous for us to deal with, but we dealt with it before, so. And what was your original question you just asked? I'm sorry.
What, if there was a minimum dollar amount for an order?
There's not, but generally for, like, the show we put on for the Parade of Lights was $10,000 for just the fireworks itself. So we do try to order them all at once. That was the price I gave Christie last week. Does anybody know if there's been any tariffs or any switches there? Because that changes everything on a day-to-day basis.
I haven't checked my.
Haven't
my
checked the
news
tariff
in
tracker,
20
sorry.
in 20 minutes, so you know.
Don't hold me
Somebody check Twitter.
to that one.
Yeah, I guess my concern is putting that much money on the table without pledge or guarantee, right? Like I mean, I'm not saying it won't happen, but given the fire risk, which is substantial, I feel like I'm not really prepared to put 80% of the cost and like potentially get stuck holding the bag on some of that if we can't raise the money. Or if it turns out, you know, in December, we also can't, because my understanding is that even if it's snowing, if it's a big blizzard, you still can't shoot off fireworks because that's very risky as well. And so that's my concern, but my real, which I do want to hear the answer to that, but my real, I guess, my real challenge with this is like, not necessarily the money, although it is that, but it's also just pulling resources to, in a very high, I mean, you talked, and I'm planning to mention this later, but you mentioned fire risk last night when we had the work session, and so we're pulling the guys who plan and set up, but we're also pulling, you know, I mean, it's just resources being pulled from a very high risk fire situation. And like to the point of taking the truck out into the neighborhoods, like I get that that's fun and charming and I would probably find it really cute and fabulous, but like, are we really gonna send out this multi-million-dollar piece of equipment with 4 or 5 guys in it to knock on doors to raise a couple $100? And I know that's like very curmudgeonly of me and Grinch-like, but I mean, in the end, like we're in some really dire straits or like some tight times. I shouldn't say dire straits, that's a little over the top, but like we need to be prudent, and pulling all those resources and like doing a thing just feels like when really the city's kind of already in our lane, in my view, and I'm not saying that everyone agrees with me on this, but like I feel like we're already in our lane in terms of protecting public safety by sending guys up there to do the thing in the first place. And so kind of pulling those resources and then putting more on the table and putting ourselves at risk for a $20,000 set of dollars we don't have yet, or I don't know, I didn't do the math, but you know, it's a chunk of money that we're putting on the table, plus we're pulling resources, you know, and we're being asked to send guys out into the neighborhood when we're trying to uphold a 4-minute turnaround time, right? That you told us about yesterday.
Correct,
So
yeah.
that's where my challenge is. I mean, it's the money, but it's more those resources that, and they're like they're not fundraisers. They're doing training, they're mitigating wildfires, they're doing things. It's not like they're just sitting there waiting to be called upon. You know, there's a lot that goes on. And so it's just hard for me to justify sending that out to do this other thing.
Chief, would you like to speak to that?
That was a statement, more of a question. You can be the Grinch,
Well-
and I can be the mayor from Jaws, because.
Okay, perfect.
Because
This
the
is great.
reality is you guys have got to make an economic decision. All our departments were asked to cut 10%. I don't have 10% to cut out of my operations. I really don't have 10%. That was where we have to cut it. So it was on the community to come up with that, because if we're not paying property taxes, then where's the money coming from to do all this fun stuff? And we don't have property taxes. So we can keep playing this game to where we say, you can cut, you can cut, you can cut. And then our programs will be down to nothing, but we'll have fireworks. But that's not gonna work. Eventually, it's gonna catch up. So you have the Grinch part to do, and I have the Mayor of Jaws part to do. So do I close down the beach on the 4th of July because the conditions are wrong? Absolutely, I will. Without a doubt, and I don't care if I disappoint everybody, because that's my job, is to keep the place safe from fire. It's the same thing for Fibbark when the water was real high. I waited to the last minute, the river dropped and everything worked out. It's not always gonna work out. That's the reality of nature. This year, we have the lowest snowpack in the history of Colorado, especially in our valley. there is a strong chance that I will say absolutely not, we're not shooting fireworks off because it's too dangerous. So that is a reality. So you'll do the Grinch part and I'll do the mayor of Amityville part. And I guess none of us will be popular.
And everyone
but
will
that's our
hate us, so
job.
that's okay.
That's our job, is to make these decisions. And really, without property tax, these decisions are gonna come to you more and more and more.
Yeah.
So,
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah, yeah.
I have a,
No, it's
Not
not
during
time for
council
public
discussion.
comment.
I have a couple comments. So I know that the 4th of July is a huge, the fireworks, the parade of lights is a huge economic driver in our community. It raises sales tax for every business in this community. It brings people in, they come here, they come to these celebrations, they go out to eat, they spend money. There's tourists coming here because of these celebrations. If we have the fireworks for 4th of July, they're still coming. If we don't, they're probably still coming. But we did put $25,000 in that line item last year for this to be paid back. If we reduced that to $20,000 or something such for the 4th of July, they've already raised close to 10, I don't know what you're used, 7, okay, so they've already raised 7 in 2 months from the community. We still have time to raise that money. And then how does that 25,000, if we reduced that amount, still help us? Can we do something with that, Christy, or?
Sure. We can,
Can
yeah,
you-
as
can
Chief
you
Junkie said, that we can still order. We can order whatever amount of fireworks the council directs us to.
Okay.
Yes.
But if we don't order them in the first place, then we don't need the sales tax revenue that they generate. Unless there's do we have some sort of estimate about how much? Because if we paid $25,000, fungibility, right? Like, if we didn't buy it, then we wouldn't need to supplement it with the sales tax revenue that we would raise.
No, it's not our sales. It's the business. They're going to the boathouse to eat. They're going to the liquor store to drink. They're coming here in STRs. They're coming here and filling up our hotels. We have to be one of those communities, and especially this year, it's the 250-year celebration. So this is a huge time to bring people into our community for a celebration, to invite them in to spend money. We want them to come here to spend money so that it raises the money to offset this cost here.
We wouldn't have to offset it if we just didn't pay it, though.
If we don't pay it, are they still coming for that celebration here? Are they going to Buena Vista? Are they going to Gunnison? Are they going to Canyon City? Are they going to?
Well, yeah, and I guess the other part of the question is any community having fireworks in the driest year in record is another question, just not to overly influence the discussion, but, because I was also gonna say I was waiting for my tax returns to donate towards the fireworks. So that's in after April, but, again, not to overly influence, but yeah, again, we rely on chief's judgment to tell us, and we've done it in the past where it's like, hey, it's too dry, it's too dangerous to have fireworks. So that is the other gamble. Why are we buying something we can't actually use?
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
I agree with Councilmember Schreiner. And I want to add to all of that we had staff cut $1 million out of the budget. And now we're going to turn around and spend money that we don't have so we can have a show in the driest year ever. It's not our job to make sure that traditions continue. It's our job to make sure that the infrastructure continues, that we're good stewards of the buildings that we own, that we take care of our staff. And it's just too heavy of a lift, and I can't support it.
On another note, I do think it's our job to uphold traditions in this community. We talked about S Mountain. We had a huge discussion about the lights up on Christmas Mountain, and how that is a tradition in this community. How people come here for the lighting of that. They bring other people here. That's how they find out about us. It's not just the river. It's the small town traditions as the parades, as the celebrations. It's the fib arcs. We uphold as the city of Salida these traditions. And if we don't, where's our small town city of Salida? Where's our fireworks? Where's our fib arcs? Where's our 4th of July parades and supporting the 250-year veterans for the celebration this year? I support this, so.
I feel like we can't do it by ourselves, though.
The
Do you know what I mean? Like,
raising it.
well, they've raised $6,000, which I'm not saying they won't raise $35,000. It's at a 2-year or a 2-month rate, that very well could happen. But we can't, I mean, it's not our singular responsibility to uphold traditions, right? It's our job to do that in partnership with the community center and used to be the Small Business Association and whoever else, right? But $6,000 versus 35 when it's a bad fire year is not a great algorithm, right? It's not a great calculus. So I just think, I'm not saying we should just like say, screw fireworks. You know, I'm saying we can't uphold the traditions of Salida by ourselves. Like, it is not singularly the city's responsibility.
I agree.
Right, we have to work with our partners, which we are doing, but like the risk calculus with that dollar amount plus fire risk, I mean, if we wait, and when would we have to order them to have them for Christmas Mountain?
We generally order them at the end of February.
At the same time, yeah.
At the end of February. We pushed it back to March, and, I mean, we're in contact with these folks, and we're telling them a decision's coming, so, we're pushing it right now.
Yeah. I guess at a 20% level of having the dollar amount raised, that's just, the risk calculus, for me personally, is not working.
I mean, and no, there's no public comment for this portion. I will say, though, tax returns, that's what I'm waiting for, is for, to be able to, I mean, yeah, I guess it's just, this comes before us because it's based on timing. We can actually pull the trigger and get something ordered, and then our partners are very firm in saying that they would be able to raise that money. It's just not in the week that it needs to be ordered by. That's basically, and that is the gamble. It's the gamble of what the weather's going to be. It's the gamble of whether or not that can happen. That's
Well,
why we're
right,
having
and
this
I mean, we
discussion.
just had a conversation about how we thought we were gonna be able to have 50% of the units affordable, and then we couldn't because of things we couldn't control.
Yeah.
Could we change is there a scenario in which we change the ordering schedule? Okay, now we start ordering and plugging it out of the air here, October. And we order for Christmas Mountain and the 4th of July at that time, to give the community center more time to get money into the fund. I mean, is that like a thing that could
I think we're at the
happen?
position to where if the community wants to have the fireworks, they need to raise the money for the fireworks continually going forward. So I could say October, but the amount of money still needs to be raised no matter what date we put on it.
Right, but by October, we would have a better sense of how much you could expect to be raising on a regular. Because 2 months is that's a good, for the short amount of time, that's a good amount. And if that pace keeps up, then heck yeah, but we don't really know that will happen. We just need, I feel like you need more time to know what your fundraising's, I mean, I've spent 25 years in nonprofits, and so I know that sometimes it's, you just need more time to have a good sense of what you're gonna end up with.
Correct. I'm not doing the fundraising.
Nope.
No.
Community folks are. So,
So I have a question real quick.
Sure.
So with the fundraising, our community partners are doing the fundraising. You just said you're not doing the fundraising. Our community partners are. So with this $35,000, they are going to continue to do their fundraising. If we said yes to this motion now, and they continue raising funds, and they raise the $35,000, it's at zero cost to us. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's like a reimbursement, yeah.
As long as it comes in.
As long as the money comes in. If 25,000 comes in, that still comes in and it's 10,000 to us. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so we're on the hook for, if they have raised $7,000 at this point, we're on the hook for $28,000 today if we order 35,000. If that's what we're going for. If they continue raising funds at this rate, we will have the $35,000. they will I mean, is it the intention of the community partners to continue raising funds like Chief is suggesting all year long? Or are we doing a one-time campaign? Do we know the answer? Is this a one-time thing?
No,
Or are we?
The intention is for continuous fundraising to replenish and have the firework fund stay up and running through the community foundation in the
For
long term.
here on out?
In the long term, yes.
Okay.
Any other council members that haven't
I
chimed in?
I am very surprised that of which side I am falling on this, because originally I was perfectly fine not having fireworks, but I think they've done a wonderful job at raising funds. I think if it gets down to, say, the 15,000, that, you know, worst case scenario, if the city is paying 15,000, that's 0.1% of the general fund. And I know I'm going to butcher it, but I think Churchill said, if we're cutting the arts, what are we fighting the war for? The celebration is a huge deal, and I am not one of them, but people love fireworks. And I understand that a lot of people that come into town that I've talked to love our fireworks too, and they pay a lot of the sales tax. So I hear it. I am totally open for reducing that 35, maybe to 30, but also I'm on the fireworks side.
For clarity, I am not on the fireworks side.
Why do you hate fireworks?
I'm not on the side of
150th
fireworks.
Colorado anniversary.
I'm on this, I mean, I've been in the fundraising place, and I know that it's not predictable. Like, it makes me nervous to put that much money, put ourselves on the hook for that much money, when it increases the risk if the fireworks sit for too long. I heard you say it gets
Yes, they degrade.
less safe
They degrade, yes.
in a time when safety is already of paramount issue. And it just, the calculus is not adding up for me. I know that fundraising is not guaranteed. It's not necessarily stable. There's a lot of external factors that could affect the fundraising campaign that Vicky Sue and Deb have no control over, you know, and so it's just, it's not lining up for me. I am not anti-firework. I enjoy a firework just as much as anyone. Maybe a little bit less, but quite a lot.
Well, it sounds like there's 2 on one camp and 2 on the other. And I'm looking at somebody who hasn't said anything yet on
Yeah.
this.
Um,
Do you want some water first?
Deal with it.
No, I guess this council in previous discussions has voiced their, I guess we have found it to be very important to follow policy that we have set. I view the budget as a policy as well, and our policy is set. So, there's that,
Okay,
yeah.
And Ms. Mayor,
Appreciate
I'd
the
like to
candor.
ask a question.
yeah.
What if we cut the budget in half and did a show that was half as long? That would be less risk for the continued fundraising. They'd be more likely to hit their goal. We'd be less likely to set S Mountain, et cetera, on fire. How would that work?
Well, I think you would have a smaller program.
Yep.
The risk would still remain the same, because the first firework or the last firework, you don't know where the wind's blowing at any specific point. We do our best. We have a pretty good program in place, and we bring in other outside partners from the Forest Service to help us as well. So we do take a lot of precaution, but from the first firework to the last firework, you're not 1,000% as to what's gonna happen safety-wise. So really, you'd just be reducing the size of the show.
When do you determine that, Chief?
Determine what?
That show?
The show?
show goes on or not?
Well, I'll wait to the very bitter moment, because I know, to me, I don't have a choice. It puts me in a bad position. Just like I said, I do have to make a very unpopular choice, and that choice is, are we gonna celebrate our 250th birthday of our country or not? So it puts me in a bad position, but it depends on a bunch of factors that we take into consideration for the wildfire. Another one is wind for us. So I can't tell you for sure. I mean, if you guys want to set a cutoff date, I'll do that, but.
No.
But for me, it was just like FIBARC. I waited until the last minute 2 years ago, and it went off. And that was good, because we were able to have the hooligan race and bring all those taxpayers and bring everybody in to have a good time. So to me, it's important to wait. I don't like to rush into those decisions, or I don't take them lightly, because truly, I mean, you guys have hit on it. These folks come and they pay those taxes. We don't have that property tax. We're one of the few statutory cities that don't. Without that money, man, what do we face next year? 20% cuts? At what time does it really start to impact us to where, I mean, we've had discussions in staff meetings. What's a core service to you? I mean, are we ready to start cutting our programs back and back and back and back? The reality is we need more money.
So at this point, if we tell the community we are not going to have a fireworks show with this vote for the 4th of July or Christmas Mountain, because we're not willing to take on the risk of the $35,000, which we did set a policy of the $25,000 that we set aside in the budget already for this in the line item. If we say that, are people just not gonna come now? We don't know. So we're gonna say that now, and we're gonna see what the consequences are later, instead of waiting till the last minute. Hopefully people come here, then they understand when you say, sorry, we have a fire ban. They will understand that more than if we say no fireworks to begin with, from the beginning. And then these ladies and the community partners, not just you, I'm sure there's a whole group of community partners raising funds. They still have time to raise these funds, is what I'm not trying to say, let's change the budget altogether. I'm saying give them a chance to raise more funds. They think they can do it. It's a community partnership, and that's what we've been striving for, is community partnership.
Yeah, it's a hard subject, you know. I mean, and again, I mean, taking the tourism out of the equation, I mean, it's the locals. It's our locals raising the money right now, and it's basically with the promise of like, hey, I want to put money towards this thing that I hope happens. Obviously, stuff happens, but yeah, it's really like this, you know, focusing on how important is this to our community, and do we believe, like, really, it's just, do you believe that the people, you know, if given enough time, because that was another thing on just timing, just given enough time, can they raise that money? It's really like, this is basically gauging what your finger on the pulse of a community is. If you know, I think have probably a solid idea of what this community is capable of in fundraising, and so I think that's really where your decision should lie, because it's not.
So it's been 2 months, and we've raised, as a community, $7,000. That's about $1 a person in this community is what has been given. Like, that to me does not show a high importance of fireworks.
It's not a high investment, right? Like, an investment theoretically equals value, though, you know, that's squishy, but, you know, like if I apply for a grant to the federal government for the nonprofit that I run, I have to be able to demonstrate that the community has, you said it last night, they wouldn't give you grants because you didn't have skin in the game.
Yes, ma'am.
You have to be able to show my community has invested at this level, which is why you there, federal government, should give me money, because my community is demonstrating that this is something that they value. So, I mean, I'm not trying to make a statement one way or the other on whether or not I think $6,000 is enough to demonstrate value. That's not really where I'm coming from, but to demonstrate your point, like, if we're asking the community to show the value of this to them, it's been shown, but maybe not at a high enough level.
So I do think you are agreeing with me then.
Well, yes,
Can I
I'm
jump
just
in?
using it as an example to demonstrate why that's important.
I think the math there is a little flawed. I see what you're saying, and I don't disagree at what it's at now. It's 7,000 right now. But if you have an event coming up in July 4th, I mean, people have short attention spans. They're not going to jump in right now. Like now is not, if I'm fundraising for this, now is not when I expect to get the bulk of it. I expect to get it, you know, a month before or 2 weeks before. And so I don't think the number that we're seeing now, though I think it is high, is reflective of the locals' interest in this particular event. I think that number is going to jump, say, a month or a month and a half out. So.
After tax season.
The only,
And for our mayor, right after tax
Well,
season.
I mean, now that that's a strategy, right? That's a good fundraising strategy.
there's a lot of like, I think, I assume, I think, and I'm looking at what we have.
Yeah, so if I can make two just very quick points. One, we're looking to build partnership with our community in a whole lot of different ways, not just for fireworks, right? Sponsorships and other things that we're investigating. Also, I don't know that the lead time was made clear initially. So to Councilmember Ravinsky's point, you know, people are going to be more interested as we get closer to the event. So I think those are two important things that council should consider.
Mr. Mayor, I'm asking because just for procedure, is there a way our community partners can talk at this point? Or if not, I don't know what the procedure is.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a public hearing. It's just not the
Okay.
way we do things, you
Okay.
know, and we're kind of robotic in that way. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think I mean, you know, as Councilmember Papenfort stated, there might be a compromise here. There might be, or not, I don't know, I guess.
If there were, and we talked about some opportunities to lower the amounts, we keep the 10,000 for the one, and then we say, can we put 10,000 for the other one? Are these options, Chief? Or can we say 10,000 and 15,000 or something like that?
Yes, ma'am, we can say whatever we want. To make a really good, and honestly, we have a really nice fireworks show,
Yes.
more than most cities do. That show costs you about $25,000. I can cut about $3,000 off the Parade of Lights show and do that for about $7,000. It'll be a less program, but you know, people are standing out in the cold anyway, so it doesn't necessarily have to be that big, but to me, that's kind of our basis for where we're at, is $25,000 for the 4th of July show and about $7,000 for the Parade of Lights show.
So it does seem like an option to lower those prices,
I
to
can
still have a
I can shoot
show.
off one firework if you want. So, I mean,
And
it
could we-
really comes to you guys' decision.
Can we break it into two orders?
Yes, you can. We get a discount, obviously, if we're ordering a larger number. This year was a little different because really when we talked to our fireworks vendor, and there aren't many in the United States, the tariffs really did have them tied up. They have no idea where they were gonna be. So we only saw like an $1,100 increase to the prices over last year. And they expected it to be even closer to $4,000, so we kind of lucked out there. Can we order two separate times? Yes.
Good information.
That might buy a little bit of time for the
Yeah.
fundraising.
Okay,
Well,
so how does that work? Do we have discussions about breaking it into two orders at this point? Do we have discussions
Yeah.
about lowering the price for the community partners for fundraising?
And really, it sounds like we're trying, you know, if it doesn't get ordered by the end of next week, then we don't have fireworks for the 4th. So really, if we're just focusing on the 4th, you know, you could propose 20,000, and with what's been raised, or 25 is what you were saying is the amount for that, and that would be just focusing solely on the 4th.
And then we could do another fundraiser later for the Parade of Lights.
And as that fund, I'm sure, accumulates, or we have a better picture of whether or not that is.
I do
Well, the
think it'll be
fundraiser's
easier as the
continuous.
years go by,
Right.
because there can be the perpetual
Right.
fundraising. Again, I think they've done a great job raising funds in the amount of time that they've been given. And unfortunately, due to the fact that, you know, we can't run up to Buena Vista to purchase them, we have to order them far in advance, and that is just part of the conversation for this particular year. So we can definitely have a show based on any dollar amount for the 4th of July, and we will know well in advance if we actually need to order more for the Parade of Lights, or if we can use what we couldn't for the 4th if we're unable to have a show. So there are a lot of options. I think the biggest question for staff is the dollar amount right now. If council is willing to put forward a dollar amount for us to order the fireworks by Friday, so that we can have them here on time. That's the.
So an option would be to put forth a dollar amount and say, order those with the first dollar amount, and then we use that for the 4th of July, that dollar amount, and whatever, if it's not used, we use it for the Parade of Lights. If that dollar amount is used for the 4th of July, then we raise funds again. When do we have to order the Parade of Lights fireworks, Chief?
We like to be about 4 months out.
4 months out.
Yeah.
So we have time for that. Would anybody be comfortable on council of reducing this dollar amount and allowing these community partners to keep raising funds? They've raised $7,000, $1 per person or so in 2 months. So after tax season, we know we're gonna have another donation from our mayor.
Right, well,
It could be quite large.
Yeah, are you ready to make a pledge?
It could be
I
quite
just want to be very
large.
public about it.
We're not sure how much that'll be from him, but
Yeah. I'll be sure to let you know.
oh, perfect. So we allow these ladies to continue and we lower that dollar amount, and we don't have to say $35,000 today. We don't even have to say $25,000. We say, we as a city support your community partners. We would like to give you this number to keep raising funds, and we will approve this ordering of the fireworks of $15,000 to $20,000 instead, which they've already accomplished in 2 months, half of that.
I think we can gauge that interest in council with a motion, perhaps.
Can I do that in a motion?
Gosh, you so can.
Okay.
Yeah. It sounds like you're so ready, too.
I am so ready to.
What's the, like, before it's,
Yeah, like what's the
For-
dollar
yeah,
amount
can
we're
you-
talking about? Because 15
because you
to,
said 15 to 20.
Well,
Okay.
I'm going for 35, but I know that won't go. So let's talk about a different number. I mean, I don't want to have a motion and then it's no, it's out of reach.
Right, so that's why I'm asking you.
Yeah.
What is the number?
Sounds like for the
I
fourth.
like 20. I like the number of 20. They're almost halfway there. Chief likes 25. He's holding up numbers in the back. He's auctioning back there.
Yeah, if it just establishes that we're just talking about the 4th for
Just
now.
the 4th of July at this point, because we don't have to order the Parade of Lights until 4 months ahead of time.
Yeah.
And we can continue raising funds year-long for the rest of it. So Chief likes 25. I mean, is that reasonable to council?
Well, it's not reasonable when we just heard from the Recreation Department last night and how the only thing that they can do is cut grass and clean bathrooms and empty
Okay.
trash cans. They're literally tied up. I've softened my stance a little bit because of several things. It's early in the game. People are just learning and beginning to understand that we're not making it up about how tight the money is. They're beginning to understand we're actually telling the truth. It's not a game. We want our community partners to stay on board with us, so we got to get on board with them. Betsy says she thinks they can raise 20,000. That means a lot to me.
Okay.
It means a lot to me. But I would never do it again if the money doesn't materialize. I would kill the fireworks in a heartbeat. We have a firehouse. We've got a new police station. We've got things that we have to have. I don't even like fireworks. I cannot go outside my
okay,
house.
I'm not anti-fireworks.
No, it's me. Because I go outside, I cannot breathe because of all the neighbors shooting off their fireworks all over the place. And where are the firemen? They're up there, so they can't do anything about it, So I'll be the one who says I don't like fireworks. I do like celebrations, and it's not fireworks that makes the celebration.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is lights, it's music, it's people gathering, it's having good food. You know, when you're planning to have a big band at your wedding and something goes wrong with your health, you're gonna settle for a DJ. And you're gonna dance to that DJ like it's 1999. That's how it's gonna work.
Love a DJ.
I would like to make a motion.
Okay, sounds good.
Hold on. Yeah, so I guess like I'm concerned about our consistency as a council. We had a community partner come to us and ask for fee waiver, and it's a proven community partner, and we had just set a policy that night saying that we cannot just waive fees willy-nilly, and so we said no to the housing trust. And we were very adamant that we had to say no, because we just didn't have the money, we didn't have the financial assessment, we did not know what the risk was. We are putting ourselves in that same position over fireworks, and we are willing to spend that money now.
I don't think you're comparing apples to apples. That, when Mr. McCullough presented, that, he did not give us a number. He did not give us the full details of that project. We've known this project.
Bill Almquist gave us a number.
He threw it out there. It could be between this and this.
But it was between $15,000 to $18,000. He gave us a number. Reed came to us a year before asking for $10,000. And we had a financial analysis done in that moment. The CAF report gave us a financial analysis that said we had $55,000 in the affordable housing fund, specifically for affordable housing. This is coming out of our general fund. This is not coming.
If they raise money.
If they raise money. That's the thing, this is the risk. It is comparing apples to apples to me. We are not being consistent. If we are saying no, because this is what our policy says, this is what our budget is, we're saying no to this thing, we need to do the same thing for this project as well, whatever it is. That is what consistency means to me. That is transparency. We are not just picking and choosing what things we do find importance in.
Okay. Can I make a motion, Mr.?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I can change this motion, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I move to direct staff to order fireworks for the 1/2026 4th of July show, and, and I need to say an amount here?
Yeah.
For $20,000 and amend the budget as necessary.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Fontana, seconded by Councilmember Ravinsky, and that is to direct staff to order fireworks for the 2026 show and for $20,000 and amend the budget as necessary. Any further discussion?
Pappenford,
Yes.
Schreiner,
No.
Rovinsky,
Yes.
Martin,
No.
Fontana.
Yes.
Okay. Motion passed.
No, I don't get to vote. Motion passed,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, I don't get to vote again.
You get to vote with your donation.
Right, that's right.
There you go.
Guys, tax season right around the corner.
How much you need to donate.
I will be exclaiming it from the mountaintops. All right, so right now we have Resolution 2026-10, a resolution of the City Council for the City of Salida, Colorado, approving citizen appointments to the Historic Preservation Commission. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good evening, council. Good night, almost, I think. So the Historic Preservation Commission is made up of 5 members appointed by council. There's 3 members, members serve 3 years, and there's no limitation. We have 1 member's term up near expiration, just in a few days here. We advertised for the position for a couple of months, and we received 3 applications, 2 from citizens and 1 from the HPC member whose term is expiring. And we had a selection committee of the chairperson, who is Keith Krebs, Councilmember Schreiner, and myself. We did interview all three of the applicants, and after our interviews, it was pretty clear to us that Ryan is very capable, doing a great job. And Keith, who obviously is part of all of the meetings, also strongly recommended him. So our recommendation is to reappoint Ryan.
Okay, any discussion there?
No, Ryan's interview was like 6 minutes long. It was very clear. He's the one.
And there were quite a pool of applicants. It's, a couple.
We received 2 others.
Yes, so that's not terrible. There's other people here who are up in 2026.
Correct.
So we do this again?
Yeah.
We will
now
have to do it
in
again.
October?
Correct, for both positions.
And those other people are possibly encouraged to come forward again if,
They could seek reappointment also. Mhm.
okay. And it went well?
Yes.
Good,
Great,
okay.
I would offer a motion.
all right.
I move to approve Resolution 2026-10, a resolution of the City Council for the City of Salida, Colorado, approving the following appointments to the Historic Preservation Commission. Ryan Short, Historic Preservation Commission member, term to expire March 17, 2029.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Pappenfort, seconded by Councilmember Fontana, and that is to approve Resolution 2026-10, a resolution of the City Council for the City of Salida, Colorado, approving the following appointments to the Historic Preservation Commission. Ryan Short, Historic Preservation Commission member, term to expire March 17th, 2029. Further discussion?
Pappenfort,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Fontana,
Yes.
Rovinsky,
Yes.
Schreiner,
Yes.
motion passed.
Yeah, we move on to, thank you. Move on to Resolution 2026-11, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Salida, Colorado, amending the 2026 fee schedules and establishing the dates of the F Street closure.
Good evening, Council. As we all know, 63% of Salida voters voted to close F Street on a date specified in May to a date certain in September for the next 3 years. So we're doing a couple of things in this resolution. We really wanted to just combine, save y'all's time, especially at 8 o'clock at night. So one is to determine the dates that we would like to see F Street closed. And the second is to approve a fee schedule this year for expansion into the right-of-way. And last, because we were already updating the community development fee schedule, we put in just a quick tweak of language that was already on community development's radar that they needed to change, and so we're just combining and moving forward. To address the first one, staff recommends that we close F Street on May 21st, 2026, and we open it back up on September 22nd, 2026 of this year. I believe May 21st is a Thursday. We've checked in with staff from Public Works to make sure that we have the ability for the bollards to go up that day, that we'll have staff on site. And September 22nd is a Tuesday, giving our businesses Monday to clean up that, because obviously during the weekend they kind of still want to have all of their decorations and items out, and so that gives them that Monday to tear it down, and then Tuesday for us to open it back up. From there, the second item is what historically we haven't charged for businesses to expand out onto the right of way, whether it's sidewalk expansion, just the parking space, or a little combination of both. This program obviously started out of COVID, and we really wanted to encourage businesses, so we didn't put a price tag on it. However, I've been running this program for the past 5 years, and it's quite a bit of staff time. We're attending meetings, we're knocking on doors, we're giving people electronic versions of the application, physical versions of the application, we're reviewing the application, sometimes going out and working with the business owner on like what they could put in the space. and it's all worthwhile, but we are proposing that we offer a $50 permit fee, which covers staff time. So regardless of whether you're expanding out onto the sidewalk or the whole shebang, so to speak, then it's still going to just cover staff time. And I will leave it at that and open up for any questions.
Questions?
The parades, I had a
Yeah.
question, and the bollards,
Yeah.
and the expansion, and how all of that works.
So in the application and the approval letter, we are very specific that they have to pull in all of the extraneous materials for parades. So businesses can expand out into the parking space, and then there's about 5 feet past the parking space where we allow like chairs that are easily removable. Monarch has a really cute little picture taking thing with the head cut out. Like those are all easy ways to pull back in. And so when a parade comes, we notify the businesses beforehand. If they have anything in that 5 feet, they pull it into the parking space, and so there's plenty of room for a parade. And then you asked me about street bollards. The staff at Public Works has a fancy key and put the bollards up. And unfortunately, I don't know anything past that.
But it's
Yeah, I
easy.
get the short answer is F Street will host the parades,
Yes.
and it will all be set up for it to do so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then the one last question would be the liquor modification. I know
Yeah.
that there was a guest that spoke this evening about opening up that area for liquor.
Yeah.
At this point, that's not on the table. It's just the restaurant gets to serve their liquor out into their expansion.
Yeah, and I'm really glad you brought that up, Councilmember Fontana. One of the things I forgot to mention was that in the amendment of the fee schedule, the clerk's office also offered up a fee schedule amendment, again, to cover staff time for that modification of premises. And so that would also be a $50 fee that businesses historically haven't paid. We've always just processed their liquor licenses and sent it off to the state, but it is staff time. But to answer your question, no, it's a modification of premises, so it's really just an expansion of the business, but the person can't go walking around down F Street with a margarita. As an example.
Yeah, we never could before.
Legally.
Yeah, right. Yeah, nobody does that. And maybe speak to like what, to that point as far as like, I think an entertainment district would be the control arm of the street margarita.
Yeah, I'll be honest, that is for our clerk to speak to. The entertainment district is within our code, but she's the subject matter expert on that, so.
I'm not the expert at all. We do have an entertainment district in the code. The last time it was activated was when we had Gentlemen of the Road. I know some of the restaurants have talked about getting together and reactivating that, but I believe it has to come from them. They need to be the applicant, they have to have. That's right. Yeah, they have to have committees and controls, and so I have not heard from them personally, because they would apply through me. So I don't know where that's at right now.
Okay.
So I've been going to the Downtown Restaurant Association meetings. I
Reva.
can't remember thank you very much for that. I think they are not pursuing that super actively at this time. They've assessed that it is probably not worth the effort.
Okay. Anything else, guys?
No, thank you. That's a lot of work right there, all 3 of those.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve. Am I on the right page?
Yes, and I apologize, the motion needs to add, I have the amending the 2026 fee schedules, but if you don't mind modifying the motion to say amending the 2026 fee schedules and establishing the dates, May 21st through September 22nd.
You can do this.
I'm sorry, Councilmember Papenfort.
I move to approve Resolution 2026-11, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Salida, Colorado, amending the 2026 fee schedules and approving the dates for May 21st, 2026 through September 22nd, 2026 for closure.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Martin, seconded by Councilmember Papenfort, and that is to approve resolution of the City Council of the City of Salida, Colorado, amending the 2026 fee schedules and establishing the dates of May 21st to September 22nd, 2026 for closure. Any further discussion?
Shriner?
Yes.
Fontana?
Yes.
Pappenfort?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Rovinsky?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, you move on to, thank you again, Sarah. Sorry, I was gonna say, I was like, Miss Law? No, that's not all. All right, moving on to council reports. We're gonna go with, just kidding. Rubinski. We're gonna go with the Councilmember Rubinski.
Great, I do have a couple things tonight. So yeah, first I want to congratulate Salida High School girls basketball team for its first championship. That's awesome, incredibly awesome.
We the best.
Second, I was fortunate enough to be at the CAST annual legislative meeting on March 12th, and this was my first CAST event. From my experience in these types of summits, the first one's best spent networking, taking a ton of notes, and just facing the fire hose of information head on. Luckily, I got to sit next to past mayor of Fraser, I believe Peggy Smith, and she also had been involved in CAST's kind of leadership at one point, and she helped me through it and definitely was an awesome kind of spark notes while everything was going on. And then, yeah, so I had great conversations with her. The Grand Lakes mayor, Uray's mayor pro tem, our two lobbyists for CAST, executive director of Colorado's Department of Natural Resources. And that part paired really nicely with Chief Jonke's presentation last night about wildfires and all that. I will say what he had to say at the CAST meeting was pretty scary, just based on how little snow we have. But and then, yeah, I also wanted to say thank you to Christy and Ben for all their introductions and filling me in on whatever I didn't know throughout the event. It was nice to get some FaceTime with both of them as well. I was really impressed with the Denver mayor, who spoke for a bit, as well as the legislative advocacy manager for CAST, who went over all the state bills they were watching and their stance on them. After my first event, I can absolutely see the value in CAST because communication and information are so valuable, and these events give us the opportunity to learn from many more experiences and perspectives than we'd get if we just kind of focused here and only listened to the voices here. So it was a really cool event, and thanks for inviting me, and I was happy to go. And that's all I have.
Awesome. Council Member Papenfort.
Yeah, we just heard from Marjo last night when she gave her quarterly report, so I'm going to do a very high-level summary of that. The Housing Authority is building stuff. We've got lots of units coming online. The Housing Authority is working very hard to stabilize the budget, and they have built an amazing team, kind of like how the city has done, an amazing team. And so, doing great work, and we'll hear from her again next quarter, and you'll hear from me next month. We meet on Thursday.
Awesome. To hear it. Council Member Fontana.
I do have a couple things. First, it is really nice to see Bill today. Glad I got the pleasure of all of that. You look great, Bill.
Always a pleasure.
I was also going to call out Bill's festive pants.
Happy St. Patrick's Day to you. I'm not sure what that is, but you must have some Irish.
The roast keeps happening.
No, I think it's great. I'm saying it's wonderful. Anyway, so the fireworks, I just want to touch on that just real quickly. I believe in our community partners. I think this is a big chance right now are taking on these community partners, and I believe in them. I thank you for giving them a chance. I know they will raise that money. I know those women. And at this point, real quick to touch on that, they will raise that money, and if chief, not just chief, all of the conditions, it's always on your back, chief. If we have that fireworks show or not on the 4th of July, we can use those for the Parade of Lights. If there's no show and that date to where we have to order those again, we won't have to order those again for that Parade of Lights. So I believe in those women and the rest of the community in that partnership. The Salida Greater Recreation Area, the course opened today. They are officially open. They are playing golf. They've been playing all year. Very exciting for them. They've done a great job to get it that way. Mike Springs and all the staff there in Braden, Springer, yeah, Mike, just say Mike. I forgot how to say his last name, but you can call to make tee times now. They have done a lot of improvements on the course, but they did that in community partnership. They had concrete, they had steps, they have fences, they have sod. Those community partners, Jake Hadley, H&T, Poncha Lumber, I'm sorry I said Poncha Lumber, but Poncha Lumber, very good partner there. Matt Osnes, Chuck Murphy, and other people in the community are investing in that golf course to keep the fees lower. So I appreciate our community partners there. There's 30,000 rounds of golf that was played last year, and it was a record year. They're hoping to beat that this year with their golf, and I hope they do too, because they bring a lot of money into town with their tournaments and everything else. So we're looking forward to the 2026 season. We did have a finance committee meeting yesterday. We had a discussion on the fund balance policy. I know we will get more direction and information from that at our council retreat. We did concentrate almost our entire meeting on that, on our reserves. So we will come back with feedback for that at our council retreat. And that's very important, that we understand that policy and the direction we as council would like to give and why it was already set, because we need some background on that. The treasurer will report on our sales tax, which I appreciate. Thank you for doing that. Went downtown this weekend and today. There were so many people out. It was incredible. I know that spring has come too early and so has summer, but it was incredible. So I hope we all keep that up, keep going outside, keep going downtown, keep spending our money locally. That's what we want done, even though I didn't recognize a single person when I was down there. So maybe the tourists are already here, I hope.
Never left.
Yeah, so, I also wanted to note that I had a meeting with our VSO. So for those of you that don't know, that's our Veteran Service Officer. She is incredible. Her name is Ashley Ottmer. She is for our community. She's based right here in this building if anybody needs her. She also goes to Buena Vista. I'm pretty sure she goes anywhere she is asked. She is an incredible resource for our veterans. So if anybody needs that help, needs any little bit of information, reach out to her for anything. I want to say thank you again to our community partners, Vicky, Sue, and Deb, for coming and being part of that. And congratulations again to our girls basketball and Chris Bainbridge. I know you probably missed him during basketball season, but I'm sure he'll be back now
That look does not look like he missed Chris Bainbridge at all.
For the record, Chief did not move his face at all.
So we appreciate Chris. We appreciate the help that you give him to make that happen with the girls' basketball. So thank you for that. And that's all my report.
Okay. Councilmember Martin.
I actually didn't have much to report on tonight until public comment came. So Deirdre Wildra spoke to some concerns about the pedestrian walkway for F Street closure and getting some maybe speed limit or some sort of like regulations for like e-bikes. I'm curious, Christy, do you know what that could look like? Is it something that we needed to talk about with Russ further?
Yeah, I'd like to be able to have a discussion, we can tomorrow during our department head meeting, about what that could look like. I'm envisioning signs that require people to dismount.
I think we have that painted already on.
We do on the sidewalks.
Yeah.
So after the downtown business group meeting, because Deidre had talked about it as well, we walked F Street with David and Russ and Diesel and Bill to get some ideas on how to slow it down. Obviously, if it's any rules or regulations, I'll leave that to Russ and Christy. But some kind of obstacles we were thinking about is in years past, it was kind of a straight shot down F Street, so it was easy to increase speed. But we're talking about strategically placing pergolas and other activating sites to make it so people have to kind of move around things. Other ideas that were brought up was having signage a little further down the alley. So when you're turning into an alley, you start seeing signage that indicates you're going into a pedestrian mall. And so David Lady is looking into those signs. And lastly, on the banners that are going across the bollards, David Lady actually had the great idea that we have on the bottom something that says like walk your wheels or this is a pedestrian zone. So we're trying to kind of integrate those obstacles, so to speak, to hopefully slow people down.
Okay, so yeah, let's see how that goes, and then if we need to, after some time in the summer, assess that again.
And I support that,
Yeah.
if you need a second person.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then I wanted to speak to Heidi Kravonic's concern about the timed parking limits. So we did get feedback recently from the community that 2 hours was not long enough. So we did just change that to 3 hours. That was the first of myself hearing that is not favorable. So I guess, I don't know, I feel like we got a lot of feedback that 3 hours was what restaurants and different industries wanted to see. So I guess I just wanted to speak to that for her, that we have heard back from the community that it was 3 hours. And for foot patrol officers, I don't believe at this time we have a capacity with or without the open container to have foot patrol officers, just with the staffing that we have for our police department. And then to Mike Lefever's public comment, he noted that he feels powerless. I have a microphone and I also feel powerless. So there's that. Thank you.
Okay. And Councilmember Schreiner.
Last but not least, right? Not first this time. I also wanted to shout out Bill for being best dressed today.
You haven't seen my shoes
I haven't
yet,
seen Christy's shoes,
I
so that
don't
was
know
a
if it was- I don't know
presumptive
if we
and
want to go there.
that was a premature
Sorry.
declaration. I apologize.
I just,
I'll make a big deal about him next time. I apologize. Let's see. I wanted to say thank you to the fire department for having us last night. We had our work session there. Danny, I believe is her name, made some wonderful chili. And Chief gave us a really impressive PowerPoint. You guys, Chief should give you all a lesson on how to make a PowerPoint presentation because it was really beautiful. But pointed out some really other impressive things such as 4-minute response times, which I thought was great. Am I quoting you accurately here? Yes. 96 acres of wildfire mitigation. So lots of cool things going on, and also talking about how, Joey, you mentioned you heard some things at the conference you were at about the wildfire risk and how it's not if, it's when, and it's really shaping up to be now. So hopefully we can all keep it together and not burn the town down over the summer. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. My report, yes, girls basketball, best in state, that's awesome. There was a lot of things coming up about how to properly honor them as a city, and a couple of things that came up to me was like, what about keys to the city ceremony? And I was like, I don't think we do keys to the city ceremony. But I did want to, before actually answering that, have we, I'm looking at you, Christine, have we ever done a key?
We actually did have a mayor that did have keys to the city that he would hand out.
Wow.
But that was probably 10 or 12 years ago.
Okay, all right. So I didn't want to put
Actually,
my
I have
foot
one
in
in
my
my
mouth and be like, no, we don't do that here. We don't do keys.
You're the mayor, you can do it if you
A
want.
fob.
Okay.
We'll do a fob.
like it.
to the-
Fob, a city fob.
I'll donate some keys.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, there you go.
as
That'd be
a-
great.
It's very.
You just gotta give me a master key.
Well, I'm in for a pound now.
I'll donate some keys. You
Okay.
tell me what you.
All right, okay. I mean, then we're coming at Chris Bainbridge with some keys then. Let's see. Valley to Valley Senior Care Center moved to, they had a little open house last Friday. They moved to where the Montessori school used to be. Great facility. I'm glad that they're able to, figure out things in programming after moving from caring and sharing. But yeah, stop by. It's really great how they utilize the space. Also, March 20th, 21st, and 22nd, free admission to Salida Museum from noon to 4. It's going to be Easter themed, so don't be alarmed by a bunch of different depictions of rabbits, but that's at 406.5 West Rainbow Boulevard, one of my favorite places. Make sure to say hi to Earl when you're there.
What day, Mr. Mayor?
That's March 20th, 21st, and 22nd, from noon to 4. Free admission. Let's see. The other thing, just updates on the SRO survey. I've been in communication with our youth liaison, Maddox, who's run into some, I guess, impasses on that front. And we're just trying to get to the bottom of why that's happening. He did get into contact with David Blackburn, but wants to know what next steps are, because it seems as though he's just finding opposition in that effort
To the survey?
to conducting the survey from admin. And FYI, as it turns out. So trying to get to the bottom of that. I think it's important to just state we've been doing this for the past three years now, maybe even 4, I want to say, as far as doing this comprehensive survey.
It's the students who are doing it, it's not me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we as in like, the royal we, I guess it is the student-led, but I mean, at our request and what I imagined, I thought was, the school's end as well. And it's just, it's confusing, this kind of pushback that we're receiving now. So I'll certainly keep you posted, but yeah, if there's a delay or a survey that doesn't actually happen, just know that it's not us on our end that are throwing obstacles in the way. And we'll keep you posted. Let's see, so yeah, next week, council retreat. I really look forward to that. really getting into the nitty gritty of our why, and really maybe trying to line up some of our why. It's definitely a really good opportunity too, to just, it seems like a lot of our time at the dais is just facing what's plopped on our desk at that moment. So this helps us just kind of refresh and get a sense of the bigger picture. I really look forward to that, and it's just a really good opportunity to really understand each other and our what we want in the direction. And we all want the best future for our community. And just see how we get there is where we kind of come to different conclusions. But I look forward to that. Just another reminder: March 28th, the open house at the steam plant. Really, really important to have us show up for that, because I know that the community will, and really walking through all those changes that we are facing. I think just showing up is just half the battle. And that is all that I have. Attorney report.
It's nice to see all of you, and happy St. Patrick's Day. It's my report.
All right. And treasurer report.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. January city sales tax collections decreased by $54,160, or a negative 7.6% compared to January of 2025. The city's portion of Chaffey County sales tax collections increased by $6,718, or a 2.6% increase over January of 2025. In total, sales tax receipts are 4.9% lower for January year to date. I also have a report on the fourth quarter lodging tax collections. They decreased by $27,604, or 3,615 room nights over fourth quarter of 2024. This represents a decrease of 13.2% for the quarter. 2025 collections in total are down $60,272, or 8,234 room nights, less than 2025, which is a 5.7 decrease. I did have an opportunity to attend the CAS meeting last week. I got some good information on the economic reports from the lead school of business. And as Councilmember Fontana mentioned, there'll be additional conversations around the reserve balance during the upcoming retreat. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. And department updates.
Just too quickly, we do have a meeting set up with Dr. Blackburn and FYI representatives to talk about the SRO survey and moving that forward, so we'll get back to you when we can. And I do want to let everybody know Senate Bill 26098, which is the Noise Abatement Authority bill. I spent 3.5 hours in the hearing room last, what day? Whatever day, Thursday, Thursday. So I didn't have as much fun at CAST as some people did, but that's okay. It did pass out of committee, and our Senator Baisley did vote yes in committee. It also passed second reading this morning on the Senate floor. It'll have one more reading and vote on Senate floor, hopefully this week. And then we started all over again with the House, and I will keep you all posted, but I really appreciate we've had members of REBA reach out to the senator as well and voice their support. So we will continue moving forward with that, and I will keep you apprised.
And I have a quick update, I'm sorry. A referendum is being filed on ordinance 2026-09 for the 5H LLC. They would have been able to pick up last week, but Mountain Mail did not publish our notices. None of our notices got published that we submitted to them. So they'll all be in this Thursday's paper, fingers crossed. And then I'll meet with the petitioners Thursday afternoon. They'll pick up their packets. Starting Friday, they'll start collecting signatures. They need 254 signatures to be sufficient. We always recommend that they get quite a bit more. Last time they got 500. So once I start getting those back, I will keep you guys updated on the next steps. It's gonna be fun. It's looking like right now, I kind of tried to do the timeline. It's looking like an emergency ordinance will come before you the second meeting in May to either affirm your decision of zoning the property R2 or rescinding that decision. If you affirm the decision, it will go to a special election and the vote of the people, which will happen between June 15th and September 15th, and cost the city $30,000, and that doesn't include staff time. So,
Right.
I hope they don't de-annex.
Anyway,
that's it.
that's it. Okay. Last thing we have is a motion to adjourn, perhaps?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Nobody's ever
happen?
I've never seen it happen.
Well, I've never had a 3-minute silent meditation in citizen.
Thank you. Have a
It's
safe
actually
trip
kinda nice.
home.
Drive.
Will do.
I don't know.
Thanks for managing your attorney. You do an
I'm
awesome
trying
job.
so hard.
I'm so high maintenance.
You are.
But I
Don't know.
So fun.
We'll find out, right? Somebody will give us some information. Totally. Christine, she's very informational.
People whose job it is to know that.
It's true. Oh, I didn't bring a jacket. It's an apple. It's an apple. What's that? You have short sleeves on.
I'm forced to wear a jacket.
I know. You're so beige. Oh, and it looks so nice. Very dapper.
Shucks.
I don't know that she. I'm not saying you didn't look nice, but